you can't hide. Talking all that trash, it's got your tongue tied. We king in the window, we'll start till we're finished. You better be ready to throw down. Calling us nameless, I'm losing the papers, and we find our way cause we know how. You get it twisted, we doing our business, they're chanting our names and it's so loud. Better believe it, we can't be defeated, no way. We are the heroes, we're talking legend. Won't back down until our hands are to the heavens. Heroes, we're talking legends. Won't back down until our hands are to the heavens. Can't stop us when we go in. Kings and queens are folding. There's something in our touch, feel the rush. Yeah, we're golden, sending out a message. Leave them in the wreckage. Unbreakable, powerful forces not to mess with. We keep it a win, we'll fight till we're finished. You better be ready to throw down. Calling us famous, I'm losing the papers, and we find our way cause we know how. You get it twisted, we doing our business, they're chanting our names and it's so loud. Better believe it, we can't be defeated, no way. We are the heroes, we're talking legend. Won't back down until our hands are to the heavens. Heroes, we're talking legends. Won't back down until our hands are to the heavens. We are the heroes, we're talking legend. Won't back down until our hands are to the heavens. Heroes, we're talking legends. Won't back down until our hands are to the heavens.
Let me introduce you to my madness. Knock your psyche straight up off its axis. Breaking into all of my bad habits. I'm a good girl, but the darkness like a magnet. I find the beauty in my insanity. Make believe fantasy is reality. Like the new me, you call it a tragedy. They calling me, and they say, hush, little baby, don't say a word. Nobody believes what you think you heard. Call me crazy, but I made friends with all the voices in my head. All the voices in my head. All the voices in my head. Throw me all your shade, but I'ma own it. I'm a 1-2 Edgar Allan poet. Not up for discussion, I'ma close it. Yeah, you don't want me to be your opponent. I find the beauty in my insanity. Make believe fantasy is reality. Like the new me, you call it a tragedy. They calling me, and they say, hush, little baby, don't say a word. Nobody believes what you think you heard. Call me crazy, but I made friends with all the voices in my head. 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 All the voices in my head.
You are being presented with a choice, evolve or remain. If you choose to remain unchanged, you will be presented with the same challenges, the same routine, the same storms, the same situations until you learn from them, until you love yourself enough to say no more, until you choose change. If you choose to evolve, you will connect with the strength within you. You will explore what lies outside the comfort zone. You will awaken to love. You will become. You will be. You have everything you need. Choose to evolve. Choose love. Welcome back. I'm Alisha Quinn. Today we are talking about illusional, paranoid, questioning reality. All the voices in my head. I am sharing my truth, my experiences, and what I know. And I am a divine being having a human experience. So, we go back to leaving Washington State, where, for quite a few years, I'd gone down this road of all these conspiracy theories and things, all the corrupt, evil things going on in the world, and that we're being watched and everything by the government through our phones and all these things, and I ended up in Minnesota at my former husband's sister's house, where her and her family called the police on me and then lied to me, which really sent me into a panic because I hadn't told anybody I had left Washington State. And these three women stood there and denied that any of them called the police on me. And so I left out of there, leaving my kids there and stuff. And then I felt like I was being followed and these things, and I had seen this man in the store in Minnesota. And, if you want that whole story, you could go back and look at my leaving Washington State video. And so I see this man in the front of the store in Illinois that I had seen back in Minnesota. It's very interesting seeing certain things, thinking that you're being followed in these things. And then they told me I was just being delusional and, paranoid and these kind of things. I need to get some help. So I got in there and, let's see, what kind of help they're going to give me. Well, they gave me some drugs, they're big on that. Yes, they did give me some drugs. That should help. Yeah. But the doctor, when I found out that Ernestine and her family had lied to me, said that when people lie to you, it can glitch your mind. Now that, really takes me into questioning reality and what is real. What is reality? We got all kinds of different things going on when it comes to reality. And, when you come to the point that you can't even trust your own reality, how can you trust what reality is being given to us from the world? What reality other people are having. It's like There's just all these different realities going on. So it just really, truly made me question reality. What is reality? When you come down to, I can't even trust my own reality. When I seen this man right in front of the store, that just kind of does something to you. And what, I created that because somebody lied to me? That makes things kind of interesting. It truly does. So, questioning some realities like, Hollywood and, Tom Hanks and his whole glove thing, what about child sex trafficking? Is that real or not? And why is it real? My whole life, I've only met one person who said that they were sex trafficked, and it was by her family in the church or something. Imagine. uh, and but people are out here, they're saying that some people have even broken free from sex trafficking. Maybe that's just their own reality. This just makes reality and questioning reality very interesting when you come to this point, being illusional, delusional, paranoid really makes you question reality. What about the P. Diddy scandal and arrest and things? Was that real? Was that real? I don't even know the guy. I'm not involved in anything over there. Is it real? Or is it an illusion? What about baby parts in food? Is that real or is it an illusion? What about that vaccine, or not the vaccine, but what about that virus breakout that happened in 2020? Was that real? I never got it. I hardly knew anyone who had it, So there's a few people later on when I lived at my parents' house, and they were all vaccinated with that death jab. And so what about that death jab? Is that real too? There's people out there talking about the real thing or a placebo or whatever, a fake one, a saline, like a saline thing. So is it real or not? I never even got it. So what about school? What about school and all the stuff that they teach and stuff, history and things? Looking at history, there's all kinds of different things. Makes you wonder about a few things. But what's real? What is real? What about the Bible? They say it's God's inspired word and things. And there's all these characters in it. I see someone in front of the store, but I'm supposed to believe that these other characters lived these lives and they were real. And this man, Jesus Christ, he died on a cross for our sins. Is that real? You know, I had a friend tell me that it seemed like the only thing that was real was our lives. Yeah. Yeah. You know, when I was in the hospital in Illinois on television, I was watching this Joe Biden clown show thing happen, and they're begging the guy not to run. So what about that? You know, was that real? I mean, because I seen a list that said he was already executed. So was it real or not? You know, kind of makes it interesting when you question reality like that, you know? Like, what is real, you know? What is real? You know, there's a lots of things for us to discuss if it's real or not. You know, some people are living where they believe one thing, and then you have people who believe something else. You know, this really questions reality. And so, you know, questioning what is real and what is reality. It just really it makes things interesting when you really start to question what's real and what's reality. And so we're going to take a little break. We're going to play a couple songs and some messages, and then we're going to come back and talk about a few other things when it comes to, you know, being paranoid and illusional and, you know, questioning reality.
Run, run, fast as I can. You know where I'm going, you know who I am. Not one to say that I can't. Threatening me, drawing lines in the sand. Adrenaline is pumping, all or nothing, feel it coming. Hear my heartbeat thundering, you're still wondering where it's coming from. Feel it in my chest, now it's in my head. Do you understand? My blood, my bloodstream. My blood, my bloodstream. My bloodstream. My bloodstream.
You must think I have a death wish, leaving everybody breathless. It's always my time, the city is mine. You should learn to just accept it. Royalty is in my DNA. I'll never be the type to settle for okay. See me coming up, yeah, I'm on the way. Carved out of stone, it'll never fade. Heart of a gladiator, I'm back on my Terminator. One look and they turn to vapor, I'm kind of an instigator. But not of the frying pan, but life's an incinerator. You feeling my energy like I'm plugged to a generator. Accelerating till it's full speed. No other form will prosper against me. Do you understand? Do you understand? Do you understand?
My bloodstream. My bloodstream. My bloodstream. My bloodstream. Venom in my veins, sparks go up in flames, can't just walk away. Reckless is my name, overkill insane, careful what you say. My bloodstream. My bloodstream. My bloodstream. My bloodstream.
We really are living in like a dystopian world because there's so many people who know and they're trying to tell the people who don't know, and the people who don't know are convinced that they do know, but the people who know don't feel entitled or like, you really need to believe this. It's more like, you should probably look into this right about now. So you got people who can see through the illusion, who still have to exist in the illusion and coexist with people who are in the illusion that don't know they're in the illusion. Like, tell me that's not a horror movie, because it feels like one. You're telling me that I have to pretend that I don't know everything that I know, and when I walk into the grocery store and someone tells me like, oh, politics, I have to be like, yeah. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Is this really my life? Bullshit. I call bullshit. Let me save you wasting your time doing research, trying to find things to literally alleviate your suffering from your own existence, and go read my ebook, How to Not Lose Your Shit After Unplugging from the Matrix. Because you're gonna fucking need it. This is close to being psychosis, but it's not. It just means that we're waking up from the spell that we've been put under. It doesn't mean that you're more of anything else. It is that you're returning to everything that you are. Oh my God! No! I'm going crazy. No, I'm not. I'm returning to the truth. Oh my God.
In 1981, neurobiologist Roger Sperry won the Nobel Prize for discovering something mind-blowing about your brain. And once you hear this, trust me, you'll never see yourself the same way again. So he studied patients with a rare condition called split brain, where the two hemispheres of their brain were surgically separated, which means they were cut off from communicating with each other. And here's what happened. They flashed the word walk to their right hemispheres, the non-verbal side of the brain that controls the left side of your body, and without hesitation, people's left hands start moving, mimicking walking. No questions, just action. But then when the scientists asked the left hemispheres, the side responsible for language and logic, why are you walking? The answer was not something like, because I saw the word walk. Instead, they made up a story. They constantly say random things like, I'm thirsty and I'm getting a soda. Think about that. The brain didn't know the truth, so it fabricated an explanation and delivered it with absolute confidence as if it were a fact. Your so-called logical brain doesn't care if something's true. It just needs a story to make sense. And this is how your brain creates your reality. And the crazy part? You believe it every single day. Your brain is constantly spinning stories about who you are and why you do what you do and what you're capable of. But those stories, they're not the truth. They're just stories, illusions. So the real question is, what happens when you stop believing them?
What is spiritual awakening? A spiritual awakening is when a person becomes aware of his real nature and own unique being. When this happens in your life, you will have a new sense of seeing things and the world around you. You will begin to trust life and use your inner voice when making decisions. You will be able to accept your emotions and really feel them, not repressing them through addictions and negative patterns. You will release the old pattern where you react in your life based on your traumas and old experiences. You will know that the same thing will not happen again because you attract what you want in life. You are able to release the old ways of thinking. When you experience a spiritual awakening, many questions will come into your mind and you will ask yourself a lot of questions because your ego will try to find all the excuses to keep you in fear and old patterns. That is a good question. What do you do when you stop believing your stories and the stories, other people's stories? Who knows? But definitely questioning reality. And, can we change it? I kind of switched up mine a little bit because, I used to have this whole victimized story going on, but then I changed the story, no longer a victim. Changed it a few times, actually. Find out more about that later on. I went from victim to villain, and that one's out there. There's another one coming up here next month, probably, because, I just went through that process of that inner work and inner healing and things. So and really questioning reality. And, only thing I can take is my own experiences. And I could hardly do that considering there was somebody who was following me, but that was because I was lied to. So my mind created some story of being followed. And then I seen some stuff. It makes it kind of interesting, like, your brain glitching out. And so, what creates my reality? What creates my reality? It makes it kind of interesting. Like, what does create my reality? I had, people lying to me. I had, Ronald lying to me. So lying glitches your mind up a little bit, huh? Robert was lying to me. I was, found out that religion was a lie too. That they lie about Jesus Christ too, and the world, the world that, I thought I lived in at one time. And then I went to some other world and, is that an illusion too? All those conspiracies and stuff, is it an illusion too? What about being lied to about Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and, the pedophile that lied to me when I was growing up, There's a lot of mind glitches going on with being lied to. I mean, it's just no wonder that people are in a mental health pandemic, It's a lot, a lot of mind glitches, and what is reality, And can I change it? Is that possible? Okay, so someone can lie to you and put a thought in your mind, and you could create something from that. Wow, that's powerful. So what if a bunch of rich, powerful people who own, let's just say the media, put different ideas and things out there? What if they, said that there was a very dangerous virus where a lot of people were, just getting sick and dying? That's very powerful. What about, like my family? They all were vaccinated with, what people call the death jab, but none of them died. And, but, quite a few of them ended up with that virus. My mother, she was terribly sick, in fact. I mean, it's so dangerous that, if you pass gas, it just could spread, Some very powerful thoughts right there. And what about the podcaster? Every single time that he goes around people who are vaccinated with that death jab, he's sick. I lived with people who were vaccinated and I never got sick. So is he just creating his own little delusional reality? makes makes things kind of interesting. Are we really creating our own realities with the thoughts and ideas and beliefs that are put in our mind? Makes you truly consider taking back your power over your own thoughts and reality. Who knows? So, what kind of paranoia is okay, or being illusional okay? What is okay? I mean, is it okay to think that you're gonna be sick with a virus? Is it okay to think that you have different health things and being sick? Is it okay to you be all paranoid over FBI coming in your place? Is that okay? Is it okay to be paranoid about, people who have that death jab thing? Is that okay, paranoia? Because, they're shedding and, you might get sick or something from it, Is that okay, paranoia? But having people follow you, that's not okay, paranoia? Maybe somebody should write a handbook on acceptable, being, paranoid and delusional over acceptable things, and the things that aren't acceptable. Somebody should write that handbook, that, you go too far, having people follow you, that's just going too far. I never have gotten sick with that virus, and I never got sick from other people who got that that little death jab thing and stuff. I've shaken hands with them and everything, lived with people, never got sick from that. I just told myself, don't worry about it, Alisha, you'll be fine. you know I mean, is it okay, paranoia, to think that the government's watching us through our phones and whatever, they're watching us, is that okay, paranoia? Yeah, somebody really should write that handbook, huh for what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. I mean, if you go to the hospital and you say that, you're having these symptoms because you think that you got the cold or flu or maybe that virus, I mean, they're gonna, take that seriously and, get you in there and test you and, do all the right things. But, they're not gonna accuse you of being paranoid. Why is that? Is that because that witchcraft box told them that there was this thing going around, invisible enemy? But Alisha goes in there and says that people are following her. That's not okay. You need some mental help. You need some help. Yeah, I needed some help. Yeah, I needed to figure out a few things, and being lied to, it sounds like a good time to get rid of the BSers and the liars, and tell yourself some good things to recreate and reinvent your life. Sounds like a good time. Yes. So somebody, they'll have to write that handbook one day, of what is acceptable paranoia and being illusional or delusional, but why not take your power back and create your reality and the one that you want? No fear. Be unlimited. Be invincible. Who knows? Maybe Alicia is crazy. Who knows? If I'm that crazy, just how good can it get? It shall be interesting. It shall be. So we got some questions and answers that I got. So what creates your reality? Thoughts create reality. Somebody put a thought in my mind that police just showed up for me. Nobody called them. I was, a few states over, from Washington to Minnesota. So they put the thought in my mind that the police just showed up for me. And then I created a reality of people following me. Oh, that's kind of interesting. I could do that. How do our brains create reality? When you experience a sound, sight, smell, taste, or tactile change, your brain uses sensory memory. That's interesting, So, the things I listen to and the things I watch, along, with my thoughts and all those things help create my reality. And who creates the reality for my life? And it's your conscious and subconscious actions create your reality. It's kind of like the energy game that I've been talking about, that when you're a victim, then you end up being victimized again, Played that game for a long time. Had to get out of that one. What is reality made up of? A complex interplay of energy and information. So you get one information, but then you get other information that says that information isn't right. That kind of makes things complicated, don't you think? Kind of like glitching your mind up a little bit. So what controls your reality? Our thoughts. Ooh, thoughts are very powerful then. Do beliefs create reality? They significantly influence how perceived interact with reality, shaping experiences and actions. So thinking that, government and stuff would, be listening and watching through my phone and, thinking my phone was hacked because those ideas were, kind of in my mind about that, must have been somebody else's reality. And, then I kind of believed it was really happening, maybe, maybe that's the case. It just makes life very interesting when you start questioning reality and what reality is. So who is the creator of your life? We are the creators of our own life. That makes things really interesting. If I'm the creator of my own life, how do I take my power back over my thoughts and my reality? well, kind of like reprogramming. Kind of interesting because religion kind of teaches me about reprogramming, because I kind of did that whole world thing, for a bit there, and it was a little wild and crazy there. And I voted Democrat and stuff, and then I changed and I kind of reprogrammed, and I became a Christian and went to church all the time, studied that Bible, memorized it, started voting Republican. But I found out that they were still part of the world too. When one doesn't work and then the other one doesn't work, I mean, what do you do after that? Truly, So, if I change my thoughts and I change how I think, what if I start thinking really, really great things? Is that going to change my reality? And just, come to a point that your reality is your reality and your own experiences, and it has nothing to do with me. So if I think that, I am happy and I love myself, will that make me happy and love myself? What if I think about having good health? Will that help me create good health within my life and my reality? What if I start thinking about having more money? Is that going to help my reality to have more money and have abundance in my life? Thinking positive things, loving my life, reprogramming. So, my conclusion was that my own reality is the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that exists, truly. And anything else, who knows? Maybe it's just someone else's reality. That's my conclusion. So I'm sharing my truth. I am grateful for being alive. I am grateful for where I'm at today and taking my power back over my own reality and my own thoughts. Getting out of that whole world scene. All of them. I'm grateful. I'm grateful because nothing else exists here and now, and nothing else exists. And I'm grateful for coming to that point. And I have everything I need and want at this point in time. And it only gets better. I'm offering help with healing from trauma, religious trauma, narcissistic abuse trauma, and, taking back your power. I have done that, and I can help you with that. You got to do the work, but you know what? That's part of doing it, you know? You put in the work, and I can help you with that, you know? And I'm doing my part with myself. So if you want help with healing, I'm offering that, and you can contact me through email or message me on Messenger through Facebook. Future shows, I will do a continuation of last year on September 10th when I got a job, and I will be doing one next week on religion. And I ask that you like, share, and subscribe and donate. My links will be in the bio with my email. Enjoy your day and your life. Change your thoughts, change your life. It's just a game. It's an energy game. Your thoughts create your reality. You are what you look at, you are what you think, and you are what you focus on. So believe and focus on yourself. Sending love, peace, and healing. Ending.
In 1986, a Russian sociology student created a game to show how a small informed minority can manipulate and overpower an uninformed majority. It's called Werewolf, and it turned out to be less of a game and more of a warning. In the game, the werewolves secretly pick off villagers at night. By day, they manipulate the rest into fighting each other instead of figuring out the truth. The villagers should be working together. Instead, they argue, turn on their own, and eliminate the wrong people. While the werewolves sit back and watch. Now imagine running this experiment in real life. Wouldn't it be convenient if the werewolves controlled the media, rewrote history books, and convinced the villagers that critical thinking is dangerous? The trick isn't just hiding the truth, it's making people too distracted, divided, and exhausted to look for it. So maybe the real question isn't who's the werewolf, it's who set up the game in the first place.
Isn't it strange how you'll never meet the version of you that lives in someone else's story? To some, you're heartless. To others, you're kindness itself. Some will remember your laughter. Others will never forget your mistakes. But none of them really know you. Not fully. They only know the version of you that crossed their path. You are not one person. You are 1,000 reflections in 1,000 different minds, shaped by moments you may not even remember. You can be a villain in a story you never read, and a hero in another, because we are all mosaics, broken and beautiful, shaped by the eyes that see us. And you don't get to choose which pieces they keep. But here's the truth. You do get to choose the version of yourself you wake up to every day. Because in the end, the only story that matters is the one you write for yourself.
Transmissions will resume. I try to push, try to keep us all down, and hope that we will never see the truth around. Another promise, another scene, another package like to keep us trapped in greed. All green belts wrapped around our minds, and endless red tape to keep the truth confined.
do just what we want to. We